jai, Navaditam ki jai, Jagannath Padinam ki jai, Gangamai ki jai, Gangamai ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Samavita Bhaktavinda ki jai, Gaura Premananda. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Guru. All glories to the Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Vigana Panipachari Vishesha Srimati Pushchacha Deshatana. So delivering the Western countries. I've just been in the Eastern countries for the last 2 months. Now I'm back in the Western countries. All about it specifically went to live in the Western countries. Paschatya, the Western. Paschatya means Western. Desha is countries and Tarina is the living. So I'm happy to be back here in the Western countries to try to serve our mission. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, Chapter 13, Section number 8. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Shalan Kavachit Kantaka Zarkara Angri Naga Avarukshu Vimana Eva Aste Pade Ravyamtara Vanina Ardita Gautambika Krudyati Vai Janaya Shalan Vajit Kantaka Sarkarangrir Nagaru Lukshur Vimana Ivaste Pade Pade Dantaravani Nardita Kautumbika Krudyati Vajanaya Shalan Kvachit Kantaka Sarkarangrair Nagaru Lukshur Vimana Ivaste Pade Pade Yantaravani Nardita Kautumbika Krudyati Vajanaya
Jalan Kvachit Kantaka Sakarangriya Nagaru Lukshu Vimana Ivaste Pade Pade Vyantaravani Nadita Kautumbika Krudyati Vajanaya
Ladies,
Jalan Prajikan Jaga Sarkarangriya Nagaru Lukshu Vimana Ivasti
Tumbika Krujivai Janaya.
Chalam, wandering, Kavachit, sometimes, Kantakasarkara, pierced by thorns and small stones. Angry, whose feet, Naga, the hills, Arurukshu, one desiring to climb. Vimana, disappointed. Eva, like, aste, becomes. Pade, step by step. Avyantara, within the abdomen. Vanina, by the strong fire appetite. Arudita, being fatigued and aggrieved. Kautumbika, a person living with his family members. Karudyati, becomes angry. Vai, certain. Janaya, at the family members. Translation and purport by the migration. Sometimes the merchant in the forest wants to climb the hills and mountains, but due to insufficient footwear, his feet are pricked by small stone fragments and by thorns on the mountain. Being pricked by them, he becomes very aggrieved. Sometimes a person who is very attached to his family becomes overwhelmed with hunger, and due to his miserable condition, he becomes furious with his family members. The ambitious conditioned soul wants to be very happy in this material world with his family, but he is compared to a traveler in the forest who desires to climb a hill full of thorns and small stones. As stated in the previous verse, the happiness derived from society, friendship, and love is like a drop of water in the scorching heat of the desert. One may want to become very great and powerful in society, but this is like attempting to climb a hill full of thorns. Srila Vishwanath Thakur compares one's family to high mountains. Feeling happy in their association is like a hungry man's endeavoring to climb a mountain full of thorns. Almost 99.9% of the population is unhappy in family life, despite all the attempts being made to satisfy the family members. In the Western countries, due to the dissatisfaction of the family members, there is actually no family life. There are many cases of divorce, and out of dissatisfaction, the children leave the protection of their parents. Especially in this age of Kali, family life is being reduced. Everyone is becoming self-centered because that is the law of nature. Even if one has sufficient money to maintain a family, the situation is such that no one is happy in family life. Consequently, according to the Varnashram institution, one has to retire from family life in middle age. Panchasarpam vanam rajat. One should voluntarily retire from family life at the age of 50 and go to Vrindavan or a forest. This is recommended by Srila Prahlad Maharaj, Bhagavatam 755. Taisandumanye suravarya dehinam sada sumigvigna diyam asadgrahat evatma padam griham andakupam vanangato yataramashriyetam. There is no benefit from transferring from one forest to another. One must go to Vrindavan forest and take shelter of Govinda. That will make one happy. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is therefore constructing a Krishna Balaram temple to invite its members as well as outsiders to come and live peacefully in the spiritual atmosphere. That will help one become elevated in the transcendental world and return home back to Godhead. Another sense in this verse is very significant. Kadambika krujyati vajanaya. When one's mind is disturbed in so many ways, he satisfies himself with becoming angry with his poor wife and children. The wife and children are naturally dependent on the father, but the father being unable to maintain the family properly, become mentally distressed and therefore chastises the family members unnecessarily. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 12-9, Archana Dara Dorina Yashanti Girikanam. Being disgusted with family life, one separates from the family by divorce or some other means. If one has to separate, why not separate willingly? Systematic separation is better than forced separation. Forced separation cannot make anyone happy. But by mutual consent or by the Vedic arrangement, one must separate from his family affairs at a certain age and fully depend on Krishna. This makes one's life successful. Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharmine Nirvisheshu Shunyavadi Paschat Videshatar. It's pretty bad already. It's really, really bad. Oh, so bad. We're so stupid we think it's badness. It's just our stupidity. We're blinded. We're completely blinded by the power of Maya Devi, Maya Sukhaya. That's why sometimes if we get sick or we get diseased or we lose all of our money or our house burns down or something like that, it's a great blessing. One of my disciples, his house, after coming back from the Rath Yatra that night, they woke up at 5:30 in the morning, the house was on fire. And luckily they got out of line, the house was on fire. So when these calamities come, disease, fire, flood, terrorists, so many calamities in this material world. It's a great blessing, actually. A great, great blessing. Because it helps us to remember the reality. You see, we imagine it to be so horrible, but that's actually imagination. I had one experience, I was just in Vrindavan a few days ago, and because it's so hot there, we had an AC air conditioning. So I woke up, I usually was getting up at 2:30, but I somehow woke up spontaneously at 2:16 instead of 2:30 in the room. But I was being very lazy, so I said, I think I'll just go back to sleep for another 14 minutes. But it was so hot and stuffy, I flipped on the AC, then went back to sleep. And then I had this dream. It was like the universal cataclysm. And these fierce winds were coming to destroy everything. Then I woke up and it was just the AC, it wasn't the universal cataclysm. The wind of the AC. So actually all of our sufferings are like that. We just imagine some horrible thing, this disease, that misfortune. It's actually just like the AC blowing. It seems to be the universal cataclysm. So in this way we have to see things through the eyes of Scripture. I can guarantee you this. As long as you see things through the eyes of your own mind, you're going to be buffeted on the waves of happiness and distress. And you'll never find any peace. You never will. You won't. You will not. But if you can see everything through the eyes of the Scripture, you see, Shastra Chaksus, or since it's Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada Chakshus, you see. Prabhupada is our corrected vision, you see. If we can see everything as Prabhupada sees it, you see, then we become fearless. And that's one of the requirements, you have to, if you want to advance in Krishna consciousness, you have to become fearless, you know that? That's one of the 6 items given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you want to advance in Krishna consciousness, there's 6 things you must do. Number 1, you should accept whatever is favorable for Krishna consciousness. Number 2, you must reject whatever is unfavorable for Krishna consciousness. Number 3, you should never be afraid, having full faith that Krishna will always protect you. If then Krishna is always protect you, that leads to the 4th item, which is to feel completely dependent on the mercy of Krishna in all circumstances. The 5th item is to always feel always have a very humble attitude about yourself. Always feel very meek and humble. And the 6th item is to don't have any interest separate from the interest of the Lord. My only desire is to do what Krishna wants, nothing else. Everything else, I can forget it. It can all be forgotten. Only one thing I want to do from now on, whatever Krishna wants, that's what I'm going to do. Nothing else. If you can follow these 6 items, you're going to be solidly fixed up in Krishna consciousness. You can look in the first page of the Chaitanya Charitamrita introduction, you'll find them listed there. These are the most helpful items. If you can follow these items, you're going to be in bliss 24 hours a day, no matter what happens. So, this is quite an interesting verse in purport, actually. The thorns and the twigs on the hill. They want to enjoy, but they're being tortured in all of their attempts to enjoy. Doesn't matter who they are. Even if you become Brahmaji, the topmost demigod in the whole material world, still you'll be tortured by so many miseries. What to speak of being an ordinary mortal in this world? Even if you're a big politician, a big multi-billionaire, a rock and roll star, a famous athlete, or just whatever you may be. You can have any position in this material world, and you'll be tortured by the thorns and stones of material miseries. Adi admik, adi bhautik, and adi bhautik miseries. They try to deny the miseries. Well, how are you doing today? Fine. They try to pretend they're not suffering, but actually it's just a facade. Simply a facade. Simply for self. I remember many years ago when I was a university student, I hadn't realized Krishna yet. I was pretty miserable, you see. But I was looking, you see. I had read some books about yogis and meditation, and self-realization. I was looking. I was feeling really miserable. So I remember one of the students in the drama, I was a drama major in the drama school, University of Texas. In the hallway, one of the students said, "How you doing today?" I said, "I'm depressed." He said, "Don't say that." Don't say that. You're not allowed to tell the truth, you see. You have to play the game. I'm okay, you're okay, everything's okay. That's the game. You're not allowed to say that you're unhappy. That's taboo, Prabhu. You can't say you're unhappy. You're considered a societal misfit if you're not happy with material life. Some kind of weirdo, you know. Some kind of weird philosopher type. You're not happy? What's wrong with you? But actually you realize that when suffering, that is very good. You say, "Well, come on, I don't want to realize I'm suffering, that'll make me miserable." No! When you realize you're suffering in this material world, that is the first step for achieving unlimited happiness. Because as long as you think you're enjoying material life, you are binding yourself with chains to the miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease, and they are not pleasant at all. Simply you're imagining that it's okay. So stop imagining. Come to reality. You're stuck in a body that's getting old, it's getting sick, that's dying. You're stuck in this body. We just visited one of our dear devotees in Houston. She's so dear. She and her husband are both dear. My wife and I were traveling preaching many years ago. We were van across us, living in a van. We hadn't gone home, just living in a van, traveling around America preaching, distributing books. And the winter got really cold, and we were staying in campgrounds at night, and it just wasn't. It didn't hack it. It was too much for us. So this wonderful householder couple in Houston, Sankarsana Prabhu and Radha Bhakmanaji, they took us into their home for like 2 months, I think. It was like there was no question. It was like we were part of the family. We could stay forever. They opened their hearts to us. It was so amazing. Completely opened their hearts to us. There was no question. Now it's time to move on. No. We thought we were welcome to stay there for the rest of our lives. Of course, we weren't going to do that, but that's how they treated us. So recently, Radha Bhakmanaji came down with an incurable cancer. In a horrible position. It's pathetic to see. They were drugged up because the pain is so excruciating. She's laying there on her deathbed. We went to see her. So I told all the devotees, I said, we're in the queue. We're seeing her in this condition. We're all in the queue. She's having her turn now on us. Your turn, my turn. We're all in the queue waiting to be on the deathbed. Every one of us. That's the reality of this material existence. You're in the queue, Prabhu. You're in the queue, Mataji, waiting for your turn to be on the deathbed. That's the truth. Therefore, take the opportunity now when you have clear conscience, clear consciousness, to remember to understand things as they are, to see things through the eyes of the scripture. Prepare yourself, you see. It's not like there's going to be a final exam when you take a university course. The intelligent student prepares himself in the very first day of that course for that final exam. The frivolous student, he just goofs off a whole semester. He waits till the night before to cram for the exam. You see, complete anxiety. The intelligent student prepares himself from day one to that final exam. So what is the final exam we're all going to face? Death. Are you preparing yourself now? Or are you just ignoring it? Frivolously ignoring it. That's what we have to ask ourselves. Am I preparing myself for death? Am I frivolously ignoring the reality that I'm going to leave my body today, tomorrow, next week, and next year, 10 years from now, whatever. He said, it sounds so morose. How can you be happy? You don't understand. This is exactly how you become unlimitedly happy. Brahma bhuta prasanadana sochati nakamshati. Samaksaveshu bhuteshu bhaktim labate param. This is how you achieve unlimited happiness. One who is thus transcendently situated at once achieved the Supreme Brahman becomes absolutely ecstatic. He sees all living entities equally. He doesn't lament, he doesn't hanker. And in that state, he can develop pure Krishna consciousness, pure bhakti. So just try to develop that consciousness of who you really are, you see. Krishna consciousness means know who you are and be who you are. Don't try to be something that you're not, namely your body. We were programmed from the very beginning. As soon as they came out of the mother's womb, they're saying, oh look, it's a boy, it's a girl. We immediately heard, you see, I'm a boy, I'm a girl. And they said, no, you be a good little boy, a good little girl. Can you do it? Can you be a boy or a girl? No. I say, I want you to be that t-shirt. Oh look, a nice t-shirt. No, you be a good little t-shirt. You see. Can you do it? Can you be a good t-shirt? You can try. Well, I'm going to try to be a good t-shirt. It's ridiculous. We are programmed to think, I'm this body from the moment coming out of the womb, and we're trying to be a cool guy or a slick chick, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's false. It's completely false. Absolutely, completely false. That's why we need the Vedic wisdom. Tamasima Jyotirgama, come out of that foolish bodily consciousness into the full light of Krishna Bhakti. Any questions?
I always have such an uneasy feeling when someone asks me, how are you doing?
You what?
I always have such an uneasy feeling when someone asks me, how are you doing?
Well, you can answer it transcendentally. You can say, my body is in a miserable condition, but I, the spirit soul, am ecstatic because I chanted Hare Krishna this morning. You can enlighten a transcendental answer.
That's not even true.
Huh?
I'm not ecstatic, I'm actually pretty I'm not ecstatic, I'm actually pretty miserable.
It means you're committing Namaparad, Prabhu. You have to, actually, if we're chanting properly, you're going to be ecstatic every day, you see. And actually, I just read a letter, it's a really amazing letter. Probably some Japanese boys, they weren't in the temple, they got in the books of Prabhupada, they read Prabhupada, how much they liked the chanting. So Prabhupada told them to chant 24 hours a day, Hare Krishna. When you're riding the bus, when you're doing something with your hands, when you're taking bath, when you're taking rest, always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So if you're feeling misery, just chant Hare Krishna. Grihe tako, mane tako, samari bodhidaka, sukhe dukhe, sivadaka, grihe tako,